This episode of The Edge is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 180,000 titles for smartphone, tablet, and desktop. To get a free audiobook of your choice and help Trek.fm at the same time, visit audibletrial.com/trekfm. And also by Enterprise in Space, an international program of the nonprofit National Space Society. Find out how you can help science and education and become a virtual crew member aboard the NSS Enterprise Orbiter by visiting enterpriseinspace.org. And if you want to join the conversation and share your thoughts on this episode, join the Babel Conference, our listeners group on Facebook. Just type BABEL into the Facebook search field. We look forward to seeing you there.
You're listening to Trek.fm.
What have you done out there on the edge of Federation space?
Hey, Brandi, who's this guy Dave that's joining us?
This guy Dave is my husband, my partner in crime, my partner in life, my partner in love, my partner in improv. Basically, my partner in everything.
And everything.
Yes, I'm Mr. Brandi Jackola.
No, I did take Dave's name because it's way more interesting than my maiden name, so that's cool.
Well, that's cool. Well, obviously, we just introduced ourselves, and so I'm Bruce Gibson, and you're Brandi Jackola.
I am indeed.
I've been saying Jackola.
It doesn't matter.
Jackola.
You can say it either way. You can say it either way. Jackola is actually the more Finnish way, which it is a Finnish name.
Oh,
so
we'll see.
Jackola.
I was trying to finish it. So.
Oh, well done. Well done.
And Dave Jackola.
Yes.
Jackola. Got it.
Either way.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. What's the cat's name, though?
The cat's name is Nobi.
It's short for Shinobi. Because he's a little ninja.
Oh, that means we won't hear him on the show.
No, you probably will.
Cool. Well, welcome once again, Dave, to joining us live from the Edge. Like, you've been joining us, but you've always been in the chat, but now you get to chat out loud with us.
I do. I get to do it live.
Yes.
It's not even Memorex.
Boy, that's old school right there.
Wow.
Well, which is cool.
Gen X, baby.
Well, that's what we're recording with right now. With Memorex.
Memorex?
Tapes. Yep. We've got the audio tapes going right now.
Old reel to reel.
Yeah, it was really hard finding one that had 1 hour's length on one side.
The old C60s.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's really going way back.
So far.
Well, those tapes would, kind of unravel and stuff, just like the show. So that's something we have in common. But tonight we're talking about, as always, Star Trek Discovery, and we're talking about the latest episode, episode 13, What's Past Is Prologue. And if anybody wants to participate in the conversation, you can, without coming onto the show and talking like we are, but you can tweet to us. Tweet to us at Trek.fm and use the hashtag #LiveTheEdge. And then you can also make comments in the Babel Conference on our Facebook post. Most people don't do that, but that's available. But the most popular way to do it is the same way that Dave has done it before, is as you're watching us live in the YouTube chat, you can post your chat messages there. We have a whole group in there right now. I'm going to go look at it. See, look, they're already posting.
Mm-hmm. Already going. Rob Chapman, we are all well. Thank you for asking.
Yes. Thank you for asking. And welcome to Stephen Hall, who says that he listens to Trek FM all the time, but this is his first live show, and he can't wait.
Yay!
It's here.
Welcome.
Golf clap, golf clap.
Golf clap, yes. Ninja clap. So, well, let's get right into it, shall we?
Let us do that thing.
Yes.
Okay. What's Past Is Prologue. Now, we don't really have an official format. We just start talking. So I'm going to just throw it out there right now. First of all, spoilers. There will be spoilers. If you haven't watched the episode of Discovery, go watch it. But if you watched it, you must be listening to us now. Because what's one thing, Brandi, that really stood out to you about this episode?
There's so many. You're wanting me to pick just one?
We got to start somewhere, right? Random.
Well, then, then it's going to be Saru's speech to the crew.
Oh, that, yes.
And him talking about how he doesn't believe in the no-win situation. And he has said that his species has been trained to sense the coming of death, and he does not sense the coming of death. And I was like getting super emotional during that. Trying not to get emotional now, remembering it. So
and the crew was getting emotional. Tilly looked like she was choking up.
Well, when you look back at previous episodes where he was in command and measuring himself against other commanders, it's like, how did this captain command? How did this captain command? And he always felt himself short. And to see him rise to that occasion and be this great captain in the moment. And you could see, there's a lot of people complaining that this doesn't feel like Star Trek. It doesn't feel like Starfleet. But it's because Lorca has misled them. He's kind of undermined their principles. And now we can see them going back to what Starfleet is, and it's going to become the Star Trek that most people are familiar with.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because when that scene, and then later when they're on the bridge and you don't have Lorca there, and of course you don't have Burnham there, that moment where Saru was commanding them, that was, to me, the first time that bridge actually felt the most Star Trek has ever been on that series.
And when you compare it to the Terrans and how they're so backbiting and all of them are fearing one another, or they have to rule through fear or through threat of violence, you see the Discovery crew coming together as one. I noticed there's a lot of characters that normally didn't have lines, now have lines. They're allowed to speak.
Yes. Yes. Those other characters, which I can't, excuse me, choking up on this scene. Those characters, they're being kind of background characters. Every once in a while they'll have a line or two. I don't even remember what their names are. I know they have names. But
the only one I can remember off the top of my head is Kayla. And she's the redhead with the
thing, the
implant on her head.
With the 7 of 9 little implant looking thing.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of remind me of Sulu, Chekhov, and Uhura on the original series, because there's several episodes where like Uhura only says hailing frequencies open, sir, and that's it. Or Sulu's like, yes, sir. Yeah. So, but I hope I have a feeling we're going to learn more about them, especially by season 2.
I agree. I think we're going to hopefully learn more about them in the last 2 episodes as well, because I feel like this is what I love the most about this episode, is that when you put someone under pressure and in a situation that they're not sure that they're going to live through, that's when you find out who those people really are. And sorry.
Well, it's just how they didn't believe in the no-win scenario. And so they all work together to find a solution, is to basically surf the wave and to use that energy to power the drive and get home.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like there was nobody who was just like, screw this, we're all going to die anyway, so why am I even bothering with any of this? Nobody did that, because this crew is a family now, and they have come together in the worst of times. They're lost in another universe. They're not sure if they're ever going to get home. And yet it didn't stop a single one of them from doing their duties to the top level of their abilities. It's just...
Yep. Well, it was the first time it seemed like the whole crew was working as one unit rather than just following Lorca's command.
Yep.
Yes.
Because before it was just Lorca. Like Marsha.
Yeah. Well, he manipulated everyone and used everyone to his advantage and his advantage only. And to see Saru in that position of power and being the one to bring them all together, it started me doing this. Sorry, guys. I'm a super emotional person, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Well, it was a great moment. And it was just to see him become the captain he always wanted to be.
And not only that moment, but it reminds me of the moment when he's in communications with Burnham, and he refers to her as friend. And that was touching
Yes.
to me too, because they've always been kind of like butting heads a little here and there, and feels like one stepping on the other's toes. But I felt there was this general friendship. Like, I felt like it's always been there. And now I felt like that was a moment we really got to feel and see it. So
Yeah.
it's like Saru really is becoming his own leader and not trying to be the captain, but just naturally being a leader just by being himself and not worrying about, am I doing the right thing, or is Burnham going to come up behind me or whatever, and just calm the ganglia and just relax and just, I am Saru and I am captain.
He's just
That's an interesting point. There's this tarot deck I have called the Osho Zen Tarot, and one of the cards is comparison, and it puts a bamboo stalk against an oak tree. And you can't compare one to the other because they're different. They have different strengths. So the bamboo cannot pretend to be the oak or vice versa. You have to be your own person. And so Saru's great command comes from him just being himself.
I agree, yes. And Dan in the chat, Dan Gunther, who co-hosts Literary Treks with me, says, Brandi, no apologizing for the emotions because he was choking up too. We all were.
Yeah, well, try talking about it live while being choked up.
Well, you don't need to talk about it. You can always go into the chat too, Brandi, and make your comments there.
No,
That's just a bunch of cry face emojis.
I just loved seeing Saru come into his own and just bring everyone together. And there was just something so special about that scene. And I don't know. It was just so Star Trek.
Yes.
It was just so Star Trek.
Oh, how about when Lorca's on screen and talking to him, and he says, I don't care about your sentiments.
Yes.
That he stood up to Lorca. That was a great moment, too.
Oh, it was. It was. He owned Lorca. It was good.
Yep, he owned that command chair.
Yep. He's truly a captain at this point. I mean, not officially. He's still acting captain, but he's really, stepped into that command role.
Yep.
And maybe because Burnham's not there and he's just like, oh, thank goodness I can just focus on being a captain.
I don't think so. I don't think that it's because Burnham's not there. I think that he would have been the same whether she was on the ship or not. And it's his determination not to leave her behind that is also fueling this whole, there's not an option to lose. We are going to do this. We're going to find a way, period. We're going to save Michael. We're going to go home. We're going to do it all because we can. Just, So I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think that they have finally gotten to the point where they trust each other and they trust each other's judgment. So I think that he would have acted the same way regardless of whether she was on the ship or not.
No, I do agree with you on that. And Ion Trone is singing Cyndi Lauper's I See Your True Colors. That's Why I Love You in the chat right now.
Yes.
And Stephen Hall mentions about the no-win scenario, about waiting for someone to mention the Kobayashi Maru. I thought about that too.
Which is so funny because everybody pronounces that wrong. If you go back and you watch Star
Maru.
Trek 2, it's Maru,
Yeah.
because Japanese words always have the emphasis on the first syllable. So it's Kobayashi Maru, not Kobayashi Maru.
Do
But
I look
we just all
Japanese
say
to
it.
you? I'm not Japanese though.
I don't care if you're Japanese. When in Star Trek 2, when they're in the simulator with the cadets, the actual hailing, when they get in touch with the ship, they say, "This is the Kobayashi Maru."
Yes, I have
That's
that.
how they say it.
No, I agree. I've heard that, and that's why when you're saying, I knew exactly where you're going with this. If only we had somebody here at Trek.fm who lives in Japan that could actually talk about that,
Yeah, I know. Just
like the guy who runs this whole network.
oh, does he live in Japan?
He does. He lives in Japan. Yes.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
you should stop by and see him next time you're there.
Oh, I totally will, because I totally love Japan. I've never been there.
Me either. Not yet.
Not yet.
Did anybody miss Tyler?
I honestly didn't.
I know. I didn't either.
And I love Tyler.
I know. What's up with that? I thought about that
Yeah.
today. I was like, wait, Ash Tyler wasn't in this episode, but it took me a whole day to realize that.
Yeah, well, and see, I realized it as soon as they were doing the next time on Star Trek Discovery thing. I was like, oh, yeah, we didn't have any Ash Tyler this time. That was okay. That's okay. There was so much going on in the episode that to introduce that storyline into it would have just been jarring, I think. But now, because they had bigger fish to fry than, who Ash Tyler is.
Sorry.
So
this is a problem with doing a live show, because I'm reading the chat while you're talking, and it's just like I'm listening to two things about two different subjects, and one's making me laugh. Okay. So Rob Chapman says, although they've brought aboard someone else who eats Kelpian. Watch out, Saru. So let's talk about that. Giorgio is now, from the Mirror Universe, is now on Discovery. Is she going to be part of the crew?
Oh, I doubt it. She may be there as an advisor, but I don't think anyone could trust her to be a member of the crew. She thinks that Starfleet is full of weaklings. I mean, she's had time to study the database from the Defiant, so she knows exactly what Starfleet is and thinks they're pathetic. So why would she join?
Yeah. And Barnum robbed her of her death, and so there might be some resentment there.
Oh, yeah. Robbed her of an honorable death.
Well, robbed her of a death, but then also what's she going to do with her? I mean, she takes her back to her universe to do what?
Assuage her own guilt?
Yeah.
That's pretty much why she did it, I think.
Right, but now what?
I know. It was a rash decision, and now we've got Giorgio.
Well, she's a good strategist, so if it's to defeat the Klingons, you use her strategy to do so. That seems to be where they're going.
Yeah, but the Terran Empire way of doing things is not very humane.
No, it's not Starfleet.
No. So
it shouldn't be.
I don't know how far they're willing to go. I guess we're going to find out.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're losing the war, apparently. They're 9 months off the mark.
Or they've lost the war, really.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's a shocker, too, how much the war has affected Starfleet. I don't know. I'm still reeling over Captain Giorgio being... Well, I mean, Emperor. I mean, you're bringing the Emperor of the Mirror Universe into the Prime Universe. I mean, what are you going to do with her? Even if she helps you with the war, what's she going to do? I mean, I wouldn't trust her. She killed tons of people.
Yeah.
What did she do to get to be emperor in the first place?
Right. Be ruthless. She was ruthless.
Yeah, why don't
That's
we
how you
just
get
bring
to be
her
emperor.
to the Prime Universe? Because, well, I feel bad about what happened to her in the Prime Universe. It was my fault, and I'll bring this one over with me. I mean, I get why she did it, but come on, Burnham, you're really causing an issue here.
Yeah,
they should know by now that your Mirror Universe you is not you.
Right, and they even said that. She even admitted that. But I don't think she really feels that way. I feel like she's trying to correct something that isn't really going to fix the problem. She has to learn with what she did. Just live with it.
Yeah, and she just hasn't figured out how to do that yet. So, and that's one of the things. She feels really guilty over two things. Giorgio's death and starting the war between Starfleet, the Federation rather, and the Klingons. She feels responsible for both of those things. Because neither of those things would happen, in her mind, neither of those things would have happened without her influence and her actions. Whether or not that's actually true is difficult to say, because there are many other universes where she made a different decision, or Giorgio made a different decision, and there were other outcomes. Universes we'll never see, because if we don't view them, they're not there. Quantum physics!
Oh, speaking of, how was it with Stamets finding the clearing in the forest to find their way back?
Okay, yeah, I was totally almost sobbing through that whole scene.
There's a little bit of the TARDIS in the little time loop there.
Oh, yeah.
In a time corridor.
Tunnel.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's exactly what it's like. And it's cool because the bridge crew could actually see that.
Mm-hmm. They could see the spark of the line they were following, like it was a fiber optics cable or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually reminded me of something in Fallout 4, but I'm not even going to go into that. So basically it reminded me of a portrayal of brain activity and trying to follow the path of memories inside a cerebral cortex.
Yeah, it was like synapses firing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Automated Joy says she loves my Thor painting. Thank you. I love it too. That's why it's on my wall.
Yeah, is that Rob Pryor?
Yes, that is a Rob Pryor.
Yeah, he's very cool. Official Star Wars artist.
Yep, and comes to every Salt Lake Comic-Con event. Oh, excuse me. FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention.
Yeah, get it right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the lawsuit.
It's Salt Lake Comic-Con. No one's ever going to call it by the other name.
Yes.
Stamets and Tilly working together, that was pretty cool, too.
Oh, that was wonderful. And I expected that because who else on the ship now knows as much about the mycelial network than Tilly? Because Burnham knows a lot about it, too. But Tilly has been there since before Burnham came on the ship, so she's really the go-to person to help out.
Yes, and obviously she knows it a lot better than the chief engineer, who never seems to show up.
Yeah, who is the chief engineer?
I mean, where are all the chief officers? Where's the chief medical officer?
Well, as much time as we're spending in engineering, and it really kind of bothered me in this episode because Saru's doing the speech, and then there's Tilly and Stamets, and I'm just like, where's the chief engineer through all this? Is he asleep? Where is this person?
I don't know. Maybe.
And why not just make
Stamets
the chief engineer to begin with?
I know, but because it's a specialized thing is probably why he's not chief engineer, because he is working solely on the spore drive, whereas a chief engineer has to work on all the systems of the Enterprise, but especially the warp engines. So, yeah, who's the chief engineer? Come on, just tell us. Well,
how about this? How about in the final episode of this season, Saru calls the chief engineer up and it's Scotty.
Good work.
He could. He's like, I'm getting ready to leave for the Enterprise.
Isn't Stamets a civilian anyway?
He was originally...
Really?
Yeah, he was originally a scientist, a scientific researcher, so...
So do you think this Mirror Universe Lorca found him and assigned him to the ship to get that spore drive working so he could get home?
Well, no, because he had been doing this research prior to that with his friend, who was on the Glenn, and
the Dead Rising ship.
Yeah, the Dead Rising ship, and or the Dead Space ship. Take your pick. They both stressed me out. But that's video games. Sorry, guys. And so they had been doing that well before Starfleet came into the picture. And they were basically co-opted by Starfleet to work on this because of their specialization. So I don't know that it had anything to do specifically with Lorca getting them in there, but when he found them, he certainly took advantage of it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, he's like the consummate chess player, that Lorca.
Yeah, always 5 moves ahead.
Yep.
Well, Kertrax Productions, a.k.a. Dan Gunther, says in the chat, maybe that's why Lorca was imitating a Scottish accent. The engineer really is Scotty.
Oh, that's adorable.
So, speaking of the scenes of engineering and such, so what about that little green speck? Tara mentions that in the chat, too, that falls on Tilly's shoulder. What's up with that?
Yeah, they wouldn't focus on it as long as they did if it wasn't important.
Yeah.
Why would you do a close-up of it landing on her shoulder and, like, absorbing into her outfit if it's not going to lead somewhere?
What could that be? And it's green.
I
don't know what green means, but I'm just saying there's, like, I don't know, is there some connection to green? I don't know.
Yeah, green usually means energy or activity or something like that.
Maybe it's Culber's consciousness. I'm just pulling stuff out of my hat.
Tara mentioned that in the chat too. Could be Culber.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't looking at the chat, but hey, great minds think alike.
That's right.
It could be, because...
Because it's like in Jurassic Park where they do the close-up of the little Barbasol can.
Barbasol,
yeah. And it never means anything after that. You know, it doesn't come up in any of the sequels or anything, but it's like, hey, this is important.
Well, the chat says saying that the green spore, I guess something's been said that it's going to be something they'll explore in season 2.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I think Lord of Quaggas's answer is great. It's the smallest pocket universe ever. Nice.
Maybe Tilly. Oh, yeah, Steven. Exactly. Tilly's going to turn into an Orion.
Boy.
With red hair.
Why?
And have her pheromones drive the ship crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
No, just the males. Just the heterosexual males.
Yeah, that's true.
And the lesbians. Okay, I didn't mean for that to sound offensive, and it kind of sounded offensive to me. My apologies.
We're bisexuals, so we don't want to...
people who are attracted to women. Tilly, as an Orion, would drive them crazy with her pheromones. There.
Yes.
Politically correct. Sorry.
Okay, I fall in that category then. Okay. Whatever. However we got there, I fall into that. So let me ask you, I'm just looking at notes right now. I got all kinds of notes. So what?
We've not really talked about all the action in this episode, and it's action.
Oh my gosh. I actually have a problem with the action, but I'm going to save that. I'll let you guys say what you want to say about the action. Then I'm going to comment my thing.
Well, just to see Lorca's coup and, freeing all the prisoners, all his crewmates, and then trying to take over the ship. That was crazy.
Yes.
You don't normally see that kind of action in Star Trek.
No.
It was kind of like when they escaped the Klingon prison ship. It's a bit similar to that.
Yeah, I don't know, Brandi. What do you have to say about the action?
I was very tense through all of it because I am aware that I don't know who's going to live and who's going to die. I can have my hopes and dreams about that. But in the end, they could kill off anybody at any time. I don't know. And so I was very, very tense, wondering, okay, what's going to happen here? Who else is going to die? Are they going to be able to assassinate the Emperor? Is Lorca going to succeed in his coup this time? Is Landry going to get killed again? So
is Landry the same Landry? She's practically the same character, right?
Yeah, she's really the same person.
Yeah.
In all universes, Landry's the same.
Well, the one person in the chat mentioned, and I haven't gone back far enough to figure out who it was, so whoever you are, I apologize for not saying your name out loud. But they said that Landry is Landry in the Mirror Universe, and in the Prime Universe. It's just in the Prime Universe, she believes in Starfleet ideals. And in the Mirror Universe, she doesn't. So,
yeah, wow.
But otherwise, yeah, she's pretty much the same either way.
She is. I wonder if Lorca is pretty much the same too in both universes. Well, we won't know that unless we pick up Dayton Ward's book, Drastic Measures, because it'll have Lorca from 10 years earlier.
Yeah, well, I already have that pre-ordered and have had ever since it was announced. So
good for you.
Yeah, next Tuesday, woot.
Yes, next Tuesday. The action. So this is what I thought. First of all, I like the shoot off, they're shooting at each other, the standoff and the shield and all that stuff. I thought that was really cool. The fight that they were doing where, Lorca's fighting and Giorgio and Burnham's fighting Landry and all that. There was just times, and I don't know if it's how it was choreographed or the way it was shot or whatever, but there were times that I felt like it reminded me of Kirk fighting the Gorn.
Really?
Like it was slow. There were times where it was like, I just threw a punch and I just slowly died. And then there were weird times where they would slow the action and it would go, and all it is like Giorgio just turning around.
Yeah, I think they're doing the Zack Snyder thing of doing the speed ramping for effect.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way she kicked her leg up and even blocked things was actually kind of cool, but...
yeah, she can do that.
I love that.
She can do that. She didn't have to have some kind of stand-in leg do that for her. No, that was all Michelle Yeoh.
There's a guy on the floor,
with a leg, a fake leg.
And he just throws the fake leg up.
They did it in The Fifth Element, so...
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay, come on. We saw what was going to happen to Lorca. His back was towards Giorgio the whole time. Well, I even rewatched it today. He throws a punch. She starts to fall, and as she falls, he turns around. He doesn't even look to see if she's knocked out. And his back is towards the whole time. Of course, then she sticks the sword right through him. I'm like, no, I did not see that coming.
Well, I didn't know if that was going to happen or not. I really honestly didn't know. But it didn't seem like, oh, really to me, because Michael is Lorca's weakness.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Well, yes, I do agree. Yes.
So she's the only one that can undo him. And that's basically what she did. She disarmed him. And I don't think she necessarily... Well, she should have expected Giorgio to kill him. She should have, because that's what the Emperor does to traitors. So I don't know why she was surprised when it happened, because none of the rest of us... Well, there was part of me that's like, maybe she's just going to maim him and kill him slowly, but nope. There we go.
Nope, there we go.
Stabbed right through the chest and then knocked into the big old power sphere thing.
I'm going to make a request to the universe. And I probably don't even need to do this, because somebody probably would do this anyway. But I want somebody to take that scene and play the music from Amok Time. Dun, 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 dun.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, well, we've got a lot of people talking about Lorca right now in the chat.
What are they saying?
Well, Lorca, Tara Steiner says Lorca should have gone with the classic double-fisted punch to knock her out.
The haymaker?
Yeah, the haymaker. And then Dan is saying, haha, Lorca's 5 moves ahead unless Giorgio is behind him and Burnham's in front of him. Yeah.
And then he shish kebab.
It was checkmate. So he didn't see it coming. But, and Iontron says, Lorca is a bad influence and a magnetic and dominating personality. Yes, he is. That is how he got back to the Mirror Universe so easily, really.
Now, Bruce, I don't know how familiar you are with the Myers-Briggs type indicator, like personality test thing.
Are we going to do that now?
But there's one. Well, it's just there's the INTJ, and there's a bunch of like internet memes about them, but typically your villains in fiction are this personality type, and it's the mastermind, the chess player, they pull the strings, they're like puppeteers and manipulate everybody to do the things they want, them to do. Moriarty's one.
Yes.
Sauron's one. And Lorca's textbook INTJ, introverted, intuitive, thinking, judging person. And the weakness is that feeling. And so his affection for Burnham is his weakness. And so it's interesting that they played up to that he is blindsided by her, that he, in another universe, sought her out.
Now, didn't they say in a previous episode that he killed her in the Mirror Universe? The Mirror Burnham?
Well, they said that he was wanted for her death. We don't know for sure if he was the one who killed her. We don't know with any certainty how she died. But that was why everyone was supposedly on the hunt for him, was because of killing her. So they didn't really go into it any further than that I recall. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure that everyone will tell me. Well, Brian says Philippa has Burnham's badge, so I think somehow she got the body. That is possible. So, and then Iontron has a really good point. Are we to assume everyone of the Baran died in the Ion Storm and the only one saved was Lorca? So if Mirror Michael was with them, she died? I don't know if that's when she would have died. I just really don't know.
Because from what Giorgio said, it's like Burnham was seduced by him. That she had pretty much defected and joined his side.
Yeah.
So now I thought the Baran crew members survived the Ion Storm because those are the crew members he rescued here on the ISS Quran. Is that right? Like laundry.
Yeah. Well, no, it's...
Landry. I'm kidding.
I think it's pronounced Charon, but people. Well, it's one of the rivers in the underworld, but some people, because it begins with a CH, pronounce it Charon or Sharon, but I think it's pronounced Charon. I could be wrong, but I think
I watched it today and what
it's all Greek
there's
to me.
a guy I don't remember which character said Charon, and so I wrote down Charon in my notes, but I don't know if that's right or not. Charon, like Khan.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, now I'm so confused. There was something about all this I was going to say. I don't know. There's just so much. I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, it was a packed episode.
It was packed and it was 43 minutes long. It was longer than the previous episode, people. Come on. So we got a little more this time. So what's up with the USS Defiant? Like,
yeah,
all that for nothing?
I was thinking the same thing. It seems like it was just a MacGuffin, and that's about where it ended.
I disagree. I don't
disagree.
I don't think it was just a MacGuffin, because it ties the history back to Enterprise, the series Enterprise, and their 2 mirror episodes in A Mirror Darkly parts 1 and 2, because they find and take control of the Defiant in those episodes. And the Defiant has a complete Federation of Planets and Starfleet database.
Well,
and so
were you kind of hoping to actually see it?
Oh my gosh, I was so
I wanted to, but I'm glad that they didn't because honestly, they couldn't have done it better than they did in Enterprise. So if they were going to do it again, it would just be like, oh well, they already did that in Enterprise, so.
Yeah, I could have gone either way. If they had shown it, I'd been happy, and they didn't, and I'm still happy with the episode.
Yeah, but see, that's why the Emperor knows so much about the Prime Universe and is totally unsurprised when Michael tells her that I'm not from your universe. Right. And because she has all of that database information. I doubt that the ship itself is still around, but because any emperor with half a brain would say, okay, I used this to take control, Empressado, and now I'm going to destroy it because I don't want anyone to steal it and come for me in it.
Uh-huh.
I think it would have been cool if they got on the Defiant and found an old man Malcolm Reed drunk, just passed out, like, I just never left the ship. I think the Defiant does play a part in this because Lorca was using that, as we said, the MacGuffin. Lorca's using the Defiant to kind of coerce the Discovery crew and burn them to do what he needed them to do to get to the main ship. But I still wanted to see it so bad.
Yeah, well, we saw a sort of technical schematic representation of the outside.
Yeah, it was like a little polygonal kind of 3D model of it on a computer screen.
Yeah, we did see that much.
We did. And, you were talking about Saru's speech, but what about Lorca's speech? He gives a speech about the strong and the capable will always rise, and that Starfleet is just childish idealism. Did that make you mad?
It was like he's reading a lot of Ayn Rand.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of a book club.
It's like just objectivism.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though, is the only way to rise to the top in that sort of situation is by stepping on other people and making them slaves. So is that the kind of life that people really want to lead? Or live? Live is the word I was looking for, and I finally found it.
Live. In Japan,
live.
In Japan, it's pronounced live. Hey, do you like my new shirt? By the way, my disco shirt.
Oh, disco shirt.
Okay, I just had to throw that in there. Go on.
And now you know how soft it
it's
truly
very
is.
soft.
So soft. So where was I? Yeah. So basically, the strong and the capable may rise to the top, but you're alone at the top. And what do you do once you get to the top? where do you go from there? You know, what is your goal at this point? What else is there for you to conquer and destroy?
I don't know.
And what do you have to show for it? A lot of people who hate you and want you dead and assassinate you.
Well, that's the problem with fascism is it needs an enemy to fight to exist. It needs an other, otherwise it starts attacking itself. And Nietzsche even said that, in times of peace, the warlike man attacks himself. So without some other, without something to fight, they'll just end up fighting themselves and destroy themselves eventually.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, that's what happened to our country. Because after we won the Revolutionary War, yay! Slaves? No! War! Yay! So,
well, isn't that what happens in the mirror universe? Well, you know, to the Terrans. I mean, they're this dominant empire, but from all the things that they did, and then Spock helped turn things around by the 24th century, they weren't dominant anymore.
Yeah, if you look at Deep Space Nine, the Terrans aren't doing that well at all.
Yeah. Fall from grace.
Well, sadly, they kind of deserved it.
Yep.
You made your bed, now you gotta sleep in it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place, because now I'm thinking about Giorgio, because she's from the mirror universe, yet Kirk and all them didn't seem to know about the mirror universe, even though there's somebody from the mirror.
Oh, don't go down that rabbit hole.
Gosh.
It's like the best way to enjoy Discovery is just to ignore any continuity whatsoever.
That's what I try to do, because I have a feeling they'll answer the questions for us. Unless somebody has the answer, please raise your hand. Oh, Brandi, you in the back row there.
Time travel. Quantum realities and time travel is how they're going to fix this, and how no one will ever know of any of this because it may never actually end up happening.
Yeah, because if they can travel through dimensions and also time, why can't they do it again? But then time travel as a fix is always tricky.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that they used up their complete supply of spores, except for the little green one that landed on Tilly and absorbed into her.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's like a little green mushroom, and now she has a 1-up. And so if they kill her, she
extra
can
life!
have an extra life.
Maybe it wasn't a spore. Maybe it was just a green booger.
Maybe it was...
It was a very absorbent burger.
And people have said these things in the chat, but because someone, and I again, forgive me because I can't find it in the chat, it was pretty far back. Someone was saying she's going to get a Green Lantern ring.
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Lantern Corps. Yeah. Let's have Tilly join. She'd be awesome.
And we've had that in the comics. We've had the Star Trek Green Lantern crossover.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Star Trek DC crossovers in general.
Yes,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought we were talking about the fight earlier, and then Burnham is
Sorry. I had to do it.
And then she's talking to Saru. So when Lorca is talking to Saru from the Charon, whatever we want to call it, Charon, Chevy. When he's talking from the Chevy.
The karma chameleon.
When he's talking from the Chevy, whatever he's talking from. He's talking from the Imperial Palace to Discovery to Saru, and Saru's like, I have to hear from Burnham if she's not coming over. And she says, she says, I'm where I need to be, Saru. This is my place. And he's like, okay, crew, fire. What was the clue? Did she do?
She told him that she would let him know when she was in place for them to attack, for her to be able to turn off the containment field.
And that's when she says, this is my place.
Not exactly the subtlest clue.
Well, it's subtle if you don't know the conversation that they had earlier, which Giorgio didn't know and Lorca didn't know. So no one would have thought anything else of it if they hadn't seen that conversation earlier, which no one else had. So that was the level of trust that Burnham and Saru have reached now, that she can say that and know that he knows exactly what that means and that it's time to prepare to attack. So,
how did you like the Charon's Jeffries tubes? They were nice. I liked them. They even looked like they were carpeted.
Yeah, it's like they were really tall. You didn't have to crouch down.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, why aren't all Jeffries tubes like that? It's just that
they had widescreen televisions.
I know, right?
Nice.
It's just a bigger ship. That's why.
I guess.
Everything's getting bigger in this universe, too. All the ships and everything. So, okay. Dang it. There was so earlier when Burnham is talking to Saru from view screens, she says about Lorca is the mirror Lorca, and Saru's like, well, why didn't I sense something? And I want to know that. Why didn't he not sense the danger in Lorca?
Maybe it has something to do with the quantum signature.
Could be. That's a good one. I like that one.
Because they have different quantum signatures when being from different universes. And so his ganglia wouldn't know how to interpret that quantum signature, and so didn't see a threat. Or feel a threat. Sense a threat.
Could also be that Saru was just a means to an end. He wasn't actually threatened personally. He was a stepping stool.
Right.
And so there was no threat to his life. He was just a way to get to the mirror universe.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be. Or maybe, Saru's just not all he's cracked up to be.
No, I don't think that's it. He was right about the no-win scenario, so he didn't sense the coming of death and nobody died. So he was right.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. What else does the chat say? Oh wait. Okay, we're still talking about the pronunciation. Charon. Charon. Karen.
Well, and then Brian is saying apparently it's Sharon. So, or Sharon. Hey Sharon, how you doing? It's good to see you.
I keep thinking Ozzy Osbourne now, saying Sharon.
Sharon.
Oh, yes. Sharon. Sharon.
Oh Lord.
My favorite line, I think, was, "I hate poetry."
And just disintegrates.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unexpected. I wasn't sure where he was going with that, because I thought, oh, well, we're going to see someone fall into that mycelial nexus.
Well, that's the great thing, is then he dies poetically by getting killed in the same fashion.
And he hates
that he
poetry.
was mocking.
And he hates poetry. So it's, so that's how he's going to die. Poetic.
Yep. A fitting end.
Perfect.
Indeed.
But I'm going to miss him. Jason Isaacs is awesome.
I'm still holding out hope that Prime Lorca is still out there somewhere. Ooh. Honestly, the chances are slim, but...
Because Jason Isaacs plays villains so often, it'd be nice for him to play, like, the noble captain.
Yes. Yeah, because why does he always have to be the villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he makes a very good guy. He's just a really all-around great person, that Jason Isaacs.
He's just misunderstood.
Well, he's just so good at being bad.
It helps being British, that accent.
Yeah, but he does...
Even though he's an American in this.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time he's done an American accent either, so...
And why is this whole crew using American accents? Everyone. Even the the actors who don't have American accents are using American accents.
Yeah, because isn't Starfleet supposed to be diverse? So why are they all like from San Francisco or something?
Maybe.
It's like just because Starfleet's there, that's the only way to hire?
I know, right? Because honestly, there should be accents.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But
Yeah, there should be other nations represented.
Well, other nations are represented, just not the accents.
Yeah.
So,
because even when they were starting to do the original series, when they were casting it, they brought Jimmy Doohan in because he could do accents, and he did various different accents because they wanted to choose one. They picked the Scottish one because he says, well, the best engineers are from Scotland, so he wanted to do the Scottish accent. But they brought him in because they wanted accents on the bridge. That was the point of all that. And now we're not even doing accents. I don't get it. And we have actors that have non-American accents. They have, I don't know. I don't know. That one's weird to me.
Maybe it's a universal translator thing.
Well, they've always had those.
Oh, it's like you get an Apple product and it tells you what language you want it to be in.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about in Star Trek Beyond and the little friend that lured them into the nebula and to get the ship destroyed by Krall. And she was speaking in her native language, which obviously had an accent. But when she was talking, when it was talking with a slightly British accent.
Ah, there you go.
I just disproved my own argument.
I don't know. It's kind of strange that we don't have the accents. If only we had somebody with a Japanese accent so they could pronounce the Quran correctly, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Or actually the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
And have an actual Greek on board.
But I want accents. I'm going to put that into CBS and request that next season we hear more accents.
Well, and there's some other things going on. Tara Steiner says, oh man, that could mean the little green spore was Lorca and not Culber.
Ooh.
Oh.
So what, is it a soul?
I don't know.
That'd be weird.
I don't know. And then Lord of Quaggas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It says maybe the unseen chief officers will have access.
I hope so.
Chief medical officer, chief engineer. So, let's hear some accents.
Actually, now I think about it, Giorgio does have an accent.
Yes.
And so does Lorca. Although that's not Jason Isaac's actual accent.
Yeah, but isn't he doing more of like an American South accent?
It's more of a Southern accent.
It's still America, though. Freaking Americans.
Still America.
When are we going to hear Canadians?
America. Yeah, need more Canadians.
Yeah, Brandon Shea will love hearing that. More Canadians in Star Trek, please.
Yeah, get Dave Thomas on there. Rick Moranis.
Oh, that would be interesting, to say the least.
I think
it's like, okay, so we're going to do one of those painful humor episodes. All right.
I think I think they're available too, so they could come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rick Moranis was interested in acting again.
Yeah,
so
his kids are older now. I think he's ready to come back because he took some time off to raise his kids. Anyway, Dan, who is from Canada, says that the accents are foreign to him.
Yeah, there we are being racist again. Thinking, oh, well, they're not only doing American accents when Star Trek is a worldwide phenomenon.
Well, it's typical of Americans to think nationally.
True.
Yeah.
And they do film in Canada, so.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of shows do.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we will.
Toronto.
The Great White North.
Most of the crew is Canadian, so that is a point. Because most of those extras and actors in the background, with they're all from Canada, from Toronto, that area.
So if they had like a Canadian maple leaf on the Discovery, would the Klingons have ever started a war with us? It's like, oh, Canadians, we don't have any beef with them. Cool. It's like backpacking through Europe. It's like, don't tell them you're American. Tell them you're Canadian.
That's a good point. Yeah. If we had the maple leaf on the Discovery, everybody would leave them alone, right? And then you get on Discovery and there's a Tim Hortons. Everybody's eating donuts.
Oh, sweet. Poutine.
Oh, I love poutine. Okay.
Yeah, we wandered down tangent lane on that one.
Yes. So the mycelium network, it's contaminated. That dang Stamets in the Mirror Universe, how dare he do such a thing? So obviously there wasn't a discovery with a spore drive in the Mirror Universe.
No.
Nope, it was this big old palace ship.
It was on Karen.
Right.
So Karen had it
because
all.
a few episodes ago when they went to the Mirror Universe, there was speculation, even from the crew, that there could be another discovery now in the Prime Universe that went over from the Mirror Universe. And if you see the Discovery make that transition from one universe to the other, there's two discoveries and one goes up and one goes down through the transition. Yep. But I guess that doesn't play out because they led me to believe there wasn't a discovery with Spore Drive. So
we don't know. It's been 9 months since they were in the Prime Universe, and we don't know what has happened in that time.
You know what I thought was going to happen when Stamets says, I'll get us back there, at least, close enough. I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to land in like 2266, 67 or something during the original series. They're going to come into that era. Yeah. I thought that is going to be so cool.
I thought that briefly too.
Oh, why didn't they? That would have been great.
Yeah.
That's all just fan love. That's just fan stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like you said, Dave, we just got to take this series for what it is. We don't need to think about the others. This is their series. Let them do their thing, right?
I honestly am not all that bothered by it. I figured that there will be connections that will be made later, and I don't need to have everything connected right now. I don't need to have continuity. I don't want to be strangled by continuity.
Yes.
I've been watching a good story.
Yep.
And with good characters that produce emotional responses in me. And what more could I ask for? So continuity, yeah, it's fine, but I'm not going to be a slave to it.
Well, it is interesting with Discovery how many fan theories pan out. And being the first series to be during the social media age, really, that you see, watch Twitter and people going, well, I think the Emperor's this person. And then it turns out to be Giorgio, or, I think Lorca is from the Mirror Universe, turns out to be the case. And same with Tyler. It's interesting, but it's still a fascinating series because it's well acted, it's well produced, and it's well directed.
Well, that's true. And I've said before, though these twists and turns may be known to us before they happen, they still manage to present it in an interesting way and do things with it that I didn't expect. So every time I watch an episode of Discovery, there is something that I didn't expect, something that surprises me every single time.
Do you think they might be spinning too many plates at the same time, during the whole Vogue Tyler thing, while also doing Mirror Universe, Lorca? There's multiple things going on at the same time in the Klingon War. It seems like they're trying to spin a lot of these story arcs at once. Do you think they balance them well?
Seeing the preview of next week where we see L'Rell and we know that we have Mir Giorgio and we've got, Admiral, what was her name?
Cornwell.
Yes.
I blanked.
Cornwell's there.
It's Cornwall, actually. Excuse me.
Cornwell. See, again, with the names.
Sorry.
And then we've got,
Sorry, that was me.
No, and then we've got Sarek. It's like everybody's on board the ship from all of these different angles and stuff. And I'm just starting to wonder, is this the season that they're really building? They're taking a whole season to build what the actual core crew of the ship is going to be going forward. And we're going to have a Klingon and we're going to have Sarek on it maybe for a while. We're an Mirror Universe character, and all these people are on this ship and doing whatever. I don't know. But I will say I was surprised that we left the Mirror Universe. I thought it was going to play out the rest of the season till the last episode of season 1.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I thought we were going to end with them getting back to the Prime Universe and then having to wait like a year and a half to find out what happens next.
Yes. I do have a complaint. I love Discovery, but I do have a complaint now. So
Okay.
13 episodes, and I felt this way at 12. So 12 to 13 episodes in, I'm starting to like, I'm ready for some new life and new civilization stuff. Like, okay, Klingon War, Mirror Universe, all the bad environments. I'm ready to discover. I'm ready to go out and find new life and new civilizations and boldly go where no one has gone before. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, we've only had really 2 episodes like that. The first one and the one where they were trying to connect to that weird tower on the planet that could communicate
The
with
Pavans.
itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
that.
could communicate with itself. That's basically true.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
basically true.
Yeah. But again, we get a season 2, so that's cool. So we might have more opportunities to do that stuff.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that there's going to be a lot more opportunities because from what I have gathered, season 2 is not going to be Klingon War. So
Yes.
I guess we'll see how they take care of this in the next 2 episodes. Why are there only 2 left? I'm not ready.
I know, it's sad. And then we won't even have this live show until season 2 starts. And whenever season 2 starts, I don't know when that is.
Yeah, and we'll forget how to do this, and then our first live show back will be terrible because we've forgotten what we're doing. We forgot to start recording. We forgot to start
you can
broadcasting.
blame your mirror universe selves on
Yeah.
it. You know that your Terran self is responsible.
That was my Terran Empire self. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't tell the difference.
You'll have to dim the lights though, like over here. That's why I'm mirror universe Dave.
Yeah, you got the goatee and everything.
Yeah, it's all dark over here
Yeah.
because I'm sensitive to light.
It's like you're in a dark corner.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Speaking of, we're at the end of the show. So what
We
Dave,
are.
what does that mean by when I say dark corner? What does that mean to you?
Well, I host with my lovely wife, Brandi, over there, the Dark Corner podcast on strangeanddeadly.com, and we just look at pop culture and geeky stuff from a slightly darker perspective because we're both self-confessed goths. And right now we have like a 3-episode series of things kind of astrological. We did a show on Sagittarius. We did a show just recently on the Justice card of the Tarot, and next time's going to be the Chinese New Year, Year of the Dog. So it's kind of a fun triple threat of episodes.
Great. And where can people find you online outside of your podcast?
I'm usually on Facebook, just my name, David Jackola, and on Twitter, I am Dark Corner Cast.
Yay. I know that because I started following you today.
I noticed that.
All right. And Brandi, have you ever heard of that show, The Dark Corner Podcast?
No, I don't know what Dave's talking about. Of course, I've been
Oh, wait,
doing...
you're the one he's talking about that hosts with
Yeah.
you're the same
Yeah, that's
Brandi.
me.
Okay.
How many Brandis do you think are out there? Well, actually, quite a few. I'm sorry for all
Isn't
of
there
them.
a drink named after you too?
I would say it's the other way around. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, you're,
so
you're named after the drink, just like your husband's named after the Jackola.
yeah, I'm really
I am. Coca-Cola.
Jack and Cola. Yes.
Wow, the drinks
okay,
are just
no.
plentiful. And my middle name is Margarita. That's so funny. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What was I saying?
Little Margaret?
Yeah. So I do that podcast thing with Dave, and I do this podcast, and there are people in the chat saying, can't we still get together every Monday night to hang out on YouTube? That's Greg Rosier.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'd be
Play Star Trek trivia.
Yeah, there we go. So, and I also am on Trek.fm as a co-host of Warp 5, which is the dedicated enterprise podcast for the network. And I do that with Patrick Devlin and Brandon Shea Matella. And we have a good old time with that. I am fairly new to that podcast, so we're only a couple of episodes in as far as what's been released. But we actually have like 2 or 3 of them already recorded, waiting to be edited and put out there into the world, because the podcast, which was bi-monthly before, has now gone weekly. So come and join us over at Warp 5. And you can always find me lurking in the Babel Conference, and I am on Twitter as Brandywine12, which is Brandi with an I. And Bruce, my dear friend Bruce.
Yes.
Where can people find you on this network and beyond?
When I'm not listening to Warp 5, I'm usually recording another show here on Trek FM called Literary Treks with Dan Gunther, where we talk about the Star Trek books and comics. We talk about the new ones and the old ones. And, even if you don't read some of those books, sometimes it's just interesting to listen to because you might learn something from the books that you'll never pick up and read. So check it out. And also, I talk Star Wars on the Star Wars Report podcast at starwarsreport.com. And we just were at Walt Disney World previewing the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire VR experience. So we have an episode about that out right now. So check out our experience of doing that. It was like actually being like on a holodeck. I actually feel like I've been on a holodeck now, but the holodeck was playing Star Wars. It was so cool. Anyway, check that episode out. And you can find me on Twitter at Admiral_Rex.
Well, if you think about it, if Star Trek is indeed our future, then they have the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they didn't go into the holodeck and play Star Wars?
I think
it's because Star Wars happened a long time ago. In
Galaxy Far, Far Away.
I kept waiting for the NX-01 crew to watch Star Wars on movie night.
I know, right? And they just never did.
No.
They did watch the 3 Frankenstein movies, though, and Rosemary's Baby, and The Day the Earth Stood Still, and yeah. And others.
And Jumanji.
No, they did not watch Jumanji.
The new one? The old one? The new one?
Yeah, that would have been a trick, watching the new Jumanji years before it came out.
Hey, they should have it, right?
They would, yeah.
They would, quantum realities breaking my brain again.
They're watching Jaws 27.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably happen. I guess that there's only one thing left to do.
What is that?
It's for me to read stuff at you.
Now, how are you going to do that today?
Oh, gosh, I haven't even thought about it. So maybe I'll just do it as a disenfranchised Gothic person. So be sure to check out our Discovery coverage throughout the week. Live from the Edge airs on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern and will be released as a podcast on Tuesday mornings. Our commentary will be available with Mike Schindler as Tracks from the Edge on a Wednesday. We'll discuss your feedback on Postcards from the Edge on Thursday, and you can catch the full analysis of the Edge main show on Friday. To wrap up the week, join us for Notes from the Edge on Saturday with our own Chris Jones for links between Discovery and the broader franchise. You'll find all these in the main feed for The Edge and in the Trek.fm master feed. And we kind of would love to hear your thoughts on Discovery, maybe if it's not too much of a bother for you. The best place to do that is the Babel Conference. It's our listeners group on Facebook. Amy Nelson's going to collect your feedback for Postcards from the Edge. You can also find us on Twitter at Trek.fm. Send us an email using the contact form on our website at trek.fm/contact. Choose to send to a show and choose the Edge. Okay. We'd also like to thank our associate producers, which are Norman C. Lau, Tony Robinson, Thomas Paleo, Lisa Slack, Shoaib Mirza, Richard Rutledge, and Cornelia Reutner. So if you can get off your butt and help us keep all these shows going and even become an AP, visit patreon.com/trekfm for all the details. Okay, can I go now? There's my disenfranchised cough.
Somebody collecting all these characters? It's like have cards for each.
Yeah. So tonight I'm going to do... No, I'm just...
I think we need to make a...
Panic
We should
Tesla.
make a note. Automated Joy says do a Scottish accent next week. I like that idea.
Oh, I can't properly do a Scottish accent.
Perfect.
If you want me to stumble through it, I will. But but I'm terrible at it.
Well, if we have any Scots listening, please reach out to Brandi and teach her how to do a Scottish accent.
It's not just that. I mean, there's regional things attached, just like teaching someone to do an American accent. How many different American accents are there?
Pick one.
So many.
You just pick one.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. I don't know the difference between the different Scottish accents, and I might be mixing them, and then someone's going to get really upset with me.
Okay, we will not have a Scottish accent on next week's episode, everyone.
I didn't say I wouldn't do it. There you go. It wouldn't be the first time somebody's upset with me for doing a bad accent, so...
Do Fitz from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm going to watch so many videos with Ian DeCasticker just to get that down. That's the actor who plays Fitz on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And already we will have more accents on this show than Discovery has on its show.
Yes, we will.
I think you already do. Unless you count Klingon as an accent.
Okay.
I guess it kind of is. Because, we all thought it was Kalis, but no, it's apparently Kalish.
Well, it is with those teeth in. I don't think there's any other way to pronounce it.
Not true. Not true, because up until Discovery, it was just Kalis, and many Klingons said it that way, so...
Yeah, it's the makeup. Those Klingon teeth are pretty gnarly.
No, I'm talking about Next Generation, too. Next Generation...
Yeah, but Discovery Klingons are like gnarly teeth.
Klingons and anything after the original series were gnarly. They're super gnarly in Enterprise, too.
Chew your gawk.
Yeah, because you gotta, that's why they like it live, is they like to make sure it's dying in their mouth. It makes them feel strong.
I like this.
This is kind of like a cat.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a preview of what your dinner talk is like at home.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's what we do. Which is why our life is so fun together.
Yay. Should we call it a night?
Let's call it a night. So
it's a night.
Very good.
Thank you, Dave.
What else do we want to call it?
A night to remember. Anyway, so we bid you all farewell until next week. Live long and prosper. Keep calm and disco on.